S2E17, 9 minutes past 9 it is, and a very good morning to you if you've just joined us. It is the 10th of June, it's Wednesday. You know what time it is? It is time for our weekly session with Coach Zaid Ismail. Welcome, Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh.
Wa alaikum assalam wa rahmatullah. How's it going?
It is going.
Just going.
It is going. Some weeks it's just going, and that's the important thing. Just go, please.
True.
So it's that kind of a week. How has your week been, Coach Zaid?
Also going, but going better than recent weeks. So I think there's hope.
Great. There's always hope, and we remain ever hopeful. So yes, I want to get into today's topic because I was looking forward to this. We are talking about value systems with couples.
Yes, because value systems is something that I find very fascinating because so many times we assume that just because of our background and maybe ethnicity or cultural background or religious background that we have the same value systems.
What is a value system?
I think to keep it simple, I believe a value system is just what we value.
Mm-hmm.
What do we think is something that needs to be cherished or maintained or protected because it's important to the outcomes of our life.
Does that necessarily mean we share the same?
No, it doesn't, and that's the thing, right? We all assume that everyone has a similar value system if they come from a similar kind of background or origin. And that's not true, because the kind of framework of your value system can be common, but how you live that value system and what you value about it and what you prioritize within it, that's vastly different between individuals.
Like how does one know this before they get married? Like you choose this person, like how do we mitigate the risks associated with the value system is so different here? Yeah.
It depends what you're looking for before you get married, right? Most people are looking for what they can get out of it. What is it? What's in it for them? How is that person going to show up for them? All of that. And that's like one small portion of the overall value system that you're going to have to experience with them once you get married. Because marriage is not about what you can get from your partner. Marriage is about what the two of you need to contribute towards to have a functional, somewhat fulfilling life.
And I think that is something that is not clearly communicated on the onset of the relationship.
Well, everyone's so busy trying to be better than their parents, they assume that that doesn't matter.
Oh, yes. That is true. And also, everyone is looking out for what they can get out of the relationship, unbeknownst to them.
Yes, and everyone's looking for security and assurance and everything else. And my constant question to people is like, okay, so then what's the point of the marriage? What are you trying to build together? Mm-hmm. Or are you hoping that each one is going to be fully built and then you guys just going to like enjoy that?
That's a very good thing that you raise now, because there was a question I was posed with recently, where somebody said to me, would I want to be with somebody who has already accomplished everything and that, or would I want to be a part of the journey? I'm not sure which way is right for me. How would you answer that?
I think it's about what are you looking to experience and create and share in that relationship. Mm-hmm. If you're looking to be kind of curious about life and explorative and you want to discover things and you want to build things and you want to develop and grow, then you don't look for someone who's already settled into the fact that, or into the belief that, hey, I've arrived, I've accomplished all my goals, now I just need to live a comfortable life and travel and have the right kind of experiences on my IG profile, right? Mm-hmm. You need to know what you're looking for. If you don't know what you're looking for, you're going to find the wrong thing. Mm-hmm. You know, it's that same old saying that says that if you don't know where you're going, any road will get you there. This is the thing, right? We don't realize where we want to head with the relationship, so we follow any road that leads us towards thinking that that person sees us. Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. They value us. They like appreciate us. They like us. They find us attractive. Mm-hmm. That's going to fade after the honeymoon period. Mm-hmm. And then what?
And I think that's so important to discuss, that honeymoon period, when it wears off. And, my father used to always say, you don't know someone until you live with them. That generation.
Until you wake up with them.
They were like, yeah. My dad used to say that love is a terrible misunderstanding between two fools. And he would say to me,
I like that one.
You are going to be very foolish, my child.
Love is a terrible misunderstanding between two
Love,
fools.
the definition of love, it is a terrible misunderstanding between two fools. So, the value system, how does it create a problem? If we don't share the same value system, what kind of problems does this create?
I think it's at the heart of majority of the failures in relationships. Majority of the contention and the arguments and the debates and the fallouts is because they don't realize they have different value systems. And when we talk about value systems, I'm saying if we're both from the same religion, same caste, even same ethnicity and same town of origin also, right? Then we assume, hey, we got a lot in common.
Yeah.
But it doesn't mean that we value the same things about those experiences and that background. So a simple example is like if we both believe that dishonesty is just a no-go, right? It's you don't compromise on it, it's not negotiable, you have to be honest. But the one person thinks that dishonesty looks like just not lying to your partner, but you can lie to everyone else.
Yeah.
Or you can be honest with the people you're currently dealing with, but you can bribe a cop.
Mm-hmm.
It's two completely different value systems. How you emphasize and how you experience the value itself is going to be different between two people relative to their life experiences.
Mm-hmm.
Because it's what we experience in life that either gives us reason to want more of it or to not want any of it.
Yeah.
And that's what informs our value system.
So, when somebody says, you complete me.
You're triggering me too early. Way too early. I think we're at 5 minutes into this.
Yes. When they say, you complete me, we have so much in common. He completes my sentences. And then one disagreement comes along.
Yes. And suddenly you don't like the way they're completing your sentences.
You don't
Why must you always complete my
never
sentences?
knew me.
Let me say what I want to say.
Exactly. Why are you trying to control me?
Yes.
Yes. So when we come to, somebody completing you and somebody complimenting you.
Look, for me, in a relationship or when you're in the courting period, if someone makes such a big claim that you complete me, that's a red flag for me.
Mm.
Because it means two things. It means, one, that they don't see you completely. They see only what they're getting from you.
Mm-hmm.
And two, they don't know themselves well enough to understand what they want beyond just the interpersonal relationship.
Mm-hmm. And I mean, if you're not aligned in terms of values, and you can learn. I think
you'll never be 100% aligned in values. And that's the thing, right? But just before we move off that complete me thing, right? The problem with that, it's a fundamental problem that rises, right? Is that because someone feels now completed and fulfilled and assured and secure in all of that because their partner completes them, what happens? As a natural consequence, you grow as a person. You become more bold about life. You become more adventurous. You want to take more risks. You want to try the thing you always wanted to try. You want to pursue that goal you always had in mind. But your partner might have settled at the fact that, hey, we complete each other now, so we're okay. We don't change this. This is a working recipe. We don't change it. So now if you grow beyond that working recipe, it feels like betrayal.
Yeah.
It feels like, oh, now you think you're too good for me.
Yeah.
You weren't like this. You've changed. Why is everything not good enough for you anymore? And that's why this whole idea of you complete me and this romantic notion of what makes a good marriage. Look around us. The divorce rates and the dysfunctional relationships and all of that, it tells you that this romanticized notion of what marriage is about, because we think we know better than the generations before us, it doesn't work.
And I think that's important to note, because when there is a question of, okay, if somebody completes you, they also have the power to render you incomplete at some point.
Yes, because they withdraw and suddenly, oh, I'm incomplete now.
Yes. And some people are only bold and courageous and growing because they know my partner is there.
Yes.
There's a lot of dependence, codependence that...
But that's the thing, right? Everyone says you must be independent and then get married. What's the point of marriage then?
That's the new age philosophy.
Yeah, it's rubbish.
Yeah, that you should be your own person.
It's rubbish.
And your person should be their own person, and then when the two of you get together, you complement each other, not complete each other.
People are going to disagree with me, but it's rubbish. All of that is absolute rubbish.
Why?
Because it's not about what you do for each other, it's about what you want to do together. So if you're going to keep focusing on how it is that someone completes you and how it is that they do this for you and they do that for you, it's a transaction.
Yeah.
As long as I'm getting that from you, I'll be good with you. If I stop getting that from you, then I have no reason to be good with you anymore. What is marriage about? Marriage is about building something together. That's why most people don't have purpose in their marriage, because they just become dutiful. Okay, now we're married, now we have to make sure we have date nights so we don't lose the romance, and we need to make sure we have the holidays so that we don't lose the adventure, and we need to make sure that we have kids because we need to have that nucleus family. What's the purpose of all of that? Is it just to have it?
Yeah. And it's funny because you'll go to a shopping mall and you will literally see it play out in front of you. You would see that people are so miserable. Whether they're miserable with the activity of shopping, which is men,
Depends which shop you go to. You go to a hardware store and a man is in his element.
Yes, very true. We don't know.
Go to a car dealership and he won't hurry to leave there.
But how many men are going to take their wife and children to the car dealership when they're looking for
How
the
many
car?
women want to support their men in their interests in going to a car dealership?
Touché. But we know we're going to be driving that car. So go, ladies, go.
Yeah, it's just you in that bloody car every weekend.
Yes. You polish the car more than, you spend more time with the car than the family. And then all of a sudden the guy's outside with the car. The blanket. Hope you are warm,
Yeah, but you can sleep in the car, but you can't drive a house, right?
Yeah, that's so true. Touché. So it is important for couples to have not the same value system, but where does compromise come in?
I don't believe in compromise in marriage.
Okay.
If marriage is about compromise, you're starting to keep score.
Okay.
How much am I compromising versus how much you're compromising, and then the perception of what's fair becomes the sticking point.
What about understanding?
I think marriage is not, understanding is dependent on the maturity of the two people involved.
Very important.
Right? If you're not mature, you're going to get defensive and you're not going to understand, because you're going to assume that you are correct. Or you're going to assume you're under attack, right? So the reason I say marriage is not about compromise is because if you believe you're compromising, that means there's something else more important to you, but you're willing to let it go because of this.
Yeah.
Marriage is about contribution, not compromise. What do you believe is more important for you to contribute towards? That personal fix that you're going to get from whatever it is you want to do, or what it is that the fruits of your marriage deserves?
And I think that's missing. What about premarital counseling? Does that prepare people effectively, couples, for conflicts regarding value systems? Is this where we get to discuss in terms of an understanding preventative point? Do people benefit from premarital counseling and should they be discussing their value systems at that point?
I don't think you can have a discussion about value systems, because then it becomes an intellectual thing. Value systems are experienced. But if you don't know yourself well enough, you don't know what to look for in the other person, and vice versa. So premarital counseling has its place, but like everything, it depends on how effective it is. Is it going to focus on tools and methods and boundaries and exercises and how to do things from a practical standpoint, or is the premarital counseling about, are you guys sure you know what you're getting into?
Yeah.
Like, are you aware of this? Are you aware of these expectations? Are you aware that what you think you know now is not going to be true in 6 months' time? Is it preparing them for the reality of marriage, or is it preparing them to hold space in marriage?
What do you wish you knew then, but you know now?
Oh boy, that's a big question. What I wish I knew then is that not everyone has conviction in what they claim is important to them. And that for me was probably the biggest rude awakening in my life, is that if you're a trusting person, people call you naive and foolish and gullible.
Yeah.
I have a choice to either live with trust or live suspiciously. Suspicious is just not a nice way to live. You erode important relationships and you bypass a lot of good opportunities because you're suspicious about whether it was going to be what it looked like. And you can't have good relationships if you're going to be suspicious about people's motives all the time.
Yeah.
So the most important lesson I've learned through all of this is that if someone says something is important to them, you need to look for correlation between what they say is important versus how much time they invest in it. What effort, what priority do they give it? People say family is important, but they never ever have time for family.
Yeah.
They say parents are important, but they treat their parents as if they're a burden. So if someone says something is important, it has to be demonstrated through sincere effort and action in how they carry themselves. And that's the same that's true about value systems. If I say honesty is important, transparency is important, I can't be selective about it where if it suits me, it's important, but if it doesn't suit me, then no, it's none of your business.
Yeah, and I think that's where the conflict comes in, right? The double standards. There's a lot of couples that say, okay, family, for example, if one partner is family orientated and that's how you found them, and the other partner says, no, if there's something I need to be notified in time, I won't attend all these functions. I will not, you can't expect me to because I'm just not that family person. But you see them showing up for their family on time.
And even if they don't show up for their family, because say, you see, I'm consistent, I'm the same with my family as well. My question is, you knew this about their family culture before you got married. Why are you trying to change it?
Yeah.
You married into that family culture. Why do you think that it's okay for you to go in there and disrupt it?
Yeah.
Because it's that same family culture that raised the person that you now think is worth marrying.
Yeah.
So there's a hypocrisy in that, right? And that hypocrisy and the double standard comes across as a break of trust. And that's how the perception of value systems shapes things.
And how is it that value systems disrupt you financially?
Oh, I've got more time for my car than I've got for the quality of life, standard of living. Or I've got more time for standard of living than I've got for quality of life, because it's another problem. People don't differentiate between standard of living and quality of life.
That's very important. The difference between standard of living and quality of life.
You know, I keep teasing people with this one saying I heard once that do you want to cry in a mansion or laugh in a hut? Most people choose to cry in a mansion.
Why is that?
Because they feel more indulged. It's like, look what I've got. Yes, my life might not be perfect, but at least I have. What's the point of it? What is the point of life? And if you're going to set such a low standard for yourself about quality of life, then it means you don't really know yourself well enough and you don't really have purpose in life. Because when you start realizing how fleeting and how short life is, how valuable and how fragile it is, you want to make the most of every moment. And that's not a romantic notion. That's how you live with conviction. Which is why the value system becomes such a waste of life when it conflicts and you don't know how to navigate that conflict. Is because you end up just quarreling and antagonizing each other and sparring with each other for dominance and all of that. Meanwhile, life itself is being wasted.
Yeah. And I think more people need to understand that. How much time do you waste trying to prove, trying to, get like, why can't you just get it kind of a thing?
And you see, that brings me to the second point that trips up marriages a lot. There's basically 3 points, right? And we're talking more about marriage, but I think it ties into the values, right? There's 3 things typically that trip up a marriage. The first one is the alignment of value systems. The second one is the alignment of maturity, emotional maturity. And the reason why that's important is because if you don't have similar levels of emotional maturity, you can't discuss the tough discussions that go around the differences in values. But if you have the maturity, you can navigate the values.
Yeah.
Right? But the third one, which is the most dominant contributing factor, is the support structures. The support structures don't honor the value system of the couple and vice versa. And as a result, they rather focus on loyalty and they rather focus on polarization and defending and protecting their own rather than encouraging understanding and alignment and harmony.
So I always have this question about, why is it that we look at conflict as negative? Like the need for defense. Why can't we go through it, listening to both sides and journeying through it together instead of the polarization? Why is it that support systems jump to defense first?
Because being wrong feels like shame. And because being wrong feels like shame, or it feels like inadequacy or being undermined or disrespect or something or the other, automatically we're more focused on being right rather than doing what's right.
So we'll rather be right than be happy.
Yes, so many people live their life that way.
Yeah.
Because being wrong feels vulnerable. And if you don't have maturity, you don't know how to deal with vulnerability. And here's the thing about vulnerability, right? No one can tell you whether you're vulnerable or not. Only you can decide. So if you feel vulnerable, don't make your partner responsible for it. It's you that feels vulnerable, and you need to help them to understand why you feel vulnerable.
So I want to go back to the second reason marriages trip up, and that is emotional maturity.
Yes.
What does it mean to be emotionally mature?
It's about how sensitized you are to the people around you, and how you weigh that in on what matters in life. If emotional sensitivity is not important to you, and it's also not important to your partner, then you can have the cutting remarks and everything else, and you'll just, that's just how we are, right? But if it's important to one and not important to the other, then your cutting remarks comes across as insulting and demeaning and undermining and hurtful, right? So your emotional maturity or your overall level of maturity has to align. You have to be at a similar level so that you get each other. And then when you see that that you have different views, you can have a healthy conversation about it. It's not something that becomes an antagonistic kind of effort of trying to determine who's better and who's more dominant and who's going to win and who's going to prevail. Because that's what happens, is that most people approach values as if it's my way or not.
Yeah. My way or the highway approach.
Yes. And, here's a simple way in which it plays out, right? If you don't recognize the values that you're trying to build on as a couple, as a family unit, as parents, then you and your partner might have exactly the same value you're trying to instill in your children, but you just have different approaches to it. Now, the moment the one diminishes the other's approach, you actually undermine the value that the children are supposed to be adopting.
And that's so important. I mean, the difference in value systems and the power struggle in raising children, how does that translate?
It's like, here's an example, right? I had a couple who were having difficulty with their sons, teenage sons. And the father was trying to teach the kids responsibility, pick up after yourself, clean up after the pets, things like that. But because his demeanor wasn't pleasant, or it wasn't gentle enough, the mother used to openly defy him and say, no, you don't speak to them like that, and they wouldn't have to do it. The problem with that is that effort to want to establish responsibility or teach them responsibility, it was ignored because the focus was on how it was being done.
Okay.
Now, if they both realize that, okay, hold on, we both want them to be responsible, but the way we're approaching it is not complementing each other's efforts. We need alignment there. And the one thing I said 1,000 times before, and I'll say it again, and people will want to attack me for this, but it's fine. Come with a rational argument. When you have that kind of conflict in parenting styles and value systems in the home, there is one almost guaranteed outcome. Your children will display signs of ADHD. Because it establishes fear in them, because they don't know what a healthy boundary is. They don't know when it's okay, when it's not okay, who's not okay, who's right, who's wrong. They don't know which lead to follow. And because of that, they go through life not knowing where they stand in any space. And that's why it comes across as ADHD. Meanwhile, it's just fear because they have insecurity and they have a lack of self-esteem because they come from an environment that is dysfunctional.
And volatile. Sure. This is really, really hitting home, because I'm thinking about, all the different relationships and scenarios we are surrounded with. And you simply see the value systems clash in front of children.
Yes.
And then you see that the children are confused. Like, okay, so do we do it the way mom wants us to do it? Or should we do it the way dad wants us to do it?
Right. And then when the children become aware enough to recognize there's a difference, and they start playing to what mom wants when mom is around and play to what dad wants when he's around, then people accuse the children of being manipulative.
Yeah. And then one parent says the other parent is brainwashing the children.
Yes. But here's the thing, right? Children are not mature enough and aware enough and developed enough to understand what the difference is between manipulation versus navigation. And the one thing, from children to adults, manipulation itself is never ever the intention. It's never the objective.
Yeah.
It's always the means to an end. So if you don't understand what the objective is and why manipulation is seen as an acceptable form of trying to achieve it, you're never going to solve the right problems.
And you always ask this question, is which problem are you trying to solve?
Yes.
Now, when it comes to value systems, it somehow, I feel, gets into a power struggle. It's like, if you align with my values, we're going to be okay.
Yes.
But the moment I have to come over to your value, the struggle is like, why? Why must I?
Yes.
You see that power struggle playing out. Why should I? You found me like this. This is
Yes.
how I am, you know?
And people who say you found me like this, they're insecure about who they are.
Yeah.
That's why they need people to just accept them, because if you're asking them to change, it implies inadequacy.
Yeah.
It implies there's something wrong with you. You're not good enough. You need to develop. You need to grow. You need to mature. You need to change. And if we're not invested in our own growth, then someone else prompting us or encouraging us or even supporting us to want to grow, we're going to see that as them saying that we're not good enough.
And what's so bad about someone pointing out that you need to grow? You do need to grow.
The thing is, more importantly, why are you not invested in your own growth? Why do you want to just be left alone the way you are and everyone must just accept you for that?
Yeah. Yeah.
You don't value yourself. And that level of ingratitude towards who you are and what you're capable of, that affects people around you, not just you.
In a very, very sublime way.
Yes.
And it prevents you from having good, honest relationships, because people will pull away and say, you know what, I can't talk, you cannot tell this person anything
Yes.
like contradictory to what they believe. So you get such a superficial, watered down version of relationships.
And then you have that lovely bugbear of mine, which is, oh no, we're just keeping the peace.
Ah, yes. Yeah.
How are you keeping peace? You're actually creating mayhem in your children's lives, because when they get into a marriage or into a relationship, they won't know how to operate other than expecting that kind of accommodation for what it is that they're not willing to change.
Compliance.
Compliance.
You expect compliance.
Yes. And you expect people to make excuses for you, and you expect people to reduce their expectations of you. But you're not willing to reduce your expectations of others.
Yeah. Yeah.
So that's how you end up with one person taking more than they're contributing, and then the other person feels like they have to compromise so much because the other person is only taking because they want to keep the peace, and that's how you end up with two people who are bitter but staying together for the kids.
And that staying together for the kids does more damage to the kids.
Yes. You need to solve the right problem. If you're staying together for the kids, you need to consider what do the kids need for that to be beneficial to them. And what they need is for their parents to get onto the same page.
And when kids can see two people
Yes.
not on the same page, it creates such an environment for them to go good cop, bad cop.
Yep. And then they start polarizing towards other families and other social structures and other social circles, and then you think they're being rebellious.
Yes.
They just don't feel like they belong in your home.
Absolutely. And it's just, I think that establishing a shared vision, like establishing, being on the same page, just sharing what are our goals. Is it safe these days for people to come out and say, this is my issue, this is how I feel about it, and for the other person to be receptive and say, let's navigate through this together. I can acknowledge where I went wrong and take accountability, and then I will change what is necessary. I will improve in the areas. What's so bad about conflict?
You see, it makes it easier to have that conversation if you both have something equally important that you guys are striving for.
Right.
But if you don't have a common goal, then it's about why should you have your way versus me,
Yeah.
right? But if you have a common goal, then you can have a healthy conversation about how it is that what you prefer is actually counterproductive to what you both believe is important. Do we want our children to be grounded and have a healthy self-esteem? Yes. Is our shouting and screaming at each other in front of them helping that? No. Okay, we need to do better.
Yeah. Yeah.
Right? Simple. Don't overcomplicate life. But because we come with all of these methods and tools and structures and exercises and date nights and all of that nonsense, we don't see each other anymore. We only see what we need from each other, and then we complicate life because you get problems, not realizing the problems are a result of you not being present.
I think that relationships now, in my opinion, transactional.
Very.
It's very transactional. If I think back to a time that our parents, grandparents, maybe great-grandparents, definitely, mom used to be at home, dad used to go to work. Mom was the nurturer, dad was the provider. And okay, now, due to lifestyle demands and everything, it does take two to basically run a comfortable household. But that's come at a cost.
What's the cost?
That's our collapsing family systems now.
Yes.
The values are lost. The lessons are lost. There's not enough time spent with children anymore. There's not enough time making a home. We all live in a house.
What else is happening in that? We're telling children that material gains and means is more important than family values.
Yeah.
But here's another spanner in the works for that kind of approach, right? Let's assume, through no fault of their own, that just circumstances arise where the mother, the wife, is earning more and is more well off materially than the husband,
Oof.
right? No problem. That shouldn't define your standing to each other,
Yeah.
because that doesn't suddenly. And here's the thing, right? I've always said that women are nurturers, men are problem solvers.
Yeah.
This is just natural to our nature and our analytical mindset versus the nurturing mindset,
Yeah.
right? And how we equip for it. So just because the woman is earning more than the man doesn't suddenly make her analytical.
Yeah.
Doesn't suddenly make her the problem solver in the house or the leader, right? When I say leader, I'm not talking of obey at all costs. No, that's not leader. That's worship. I'm talking of leadership as in inspirational leadership. Inspire your family to head towards something that is important for the family unit.
Yeah.
So leadership is not management.
Yeah.
Most men approach the leadership role as managers.
Yeah.
Managers are controllers of process.
Yeah.
They enforce compliance.
Yeah.
Leaders inspire you to want to reach a greater vision, a greater goal.
Yeah. I think there's a book. I feel a book coming on. Are you a manager or are you a leader?
And that's why this idea of who's leading,
Yeah.
there's going to be different circumstances where each one of them would need to take the lead. When it comes to nurturing and establishing compassion and empathy in the children, the wife must lead. When it comes to teaching them about how life works and problem solving and how to be resilient in the face of challenges, the husband must lead.
And the two must have confidence in each other to lead in their areas.
And they must trust each other to be operating in a way that is for the benefit of the children and the family unit. If that trust is not there, they're going to go at each other all the time about why must you do it like this and why must you do it like that.
Yeah.
Because the moment you undermine someone, it's because you're questioning their motives, which means you don't trust.
And that's also part of your very, very big, crucial part of the value system is trust.
Yes, which comes back to, are you going to be afraid of being gullible or are you going to be suspicious? Right? You either live with conviction and you hold yourself true to that conviction, and if someone else doesn't show up in that, then you hold them accountable, but you don't let go of it just because you want to keep the peace.
Yeah.
You have to solve the right problem. You can't create a bigger problem in trying to solve the problem.
Yeah. Yeah. Wholly agree there. What role the support system can also upset the apple cart?
The support system almost always is the cause of upsetting the apple cart.
Yeah.
You know, I always tell couples that if you're having a problem with your partner, you need to be able to have a healthy conversation with your partner's family and support structure, because you're trying to understand how it is that you can get through to your partner and vice versa. But if you have a problem with your partner and you can speak to your family about him or her, how do your family know them? They don't know them. They didn't grow up with them. They don't know what it is that their fears and their experiences are about that might be driving that behavior.
And
So-
you're just looking for cheerleaders then.
Exactly, that's what you're going to get. You're going to get people who are going to tell you how bad he is for you, or how bad she is for you, and how it is that you must protect yourself, and don't let them get away with this, and don't let them take advantage of you. And that's how you end up with polarization in the relationship rather than harmony.
So the correct way is to speak to their family to understand them because of the value system.
What's the objective? What are you trying to
upbringing.
solve?
Of course.
Are you trying to solve your understanding of how to find alignment with your partner? If yes, speak to people who understand your partner, not people who understand you.
Yeah. And that goes down to initially you are looking for how this can benefit you.
Yes.
What you can get out of it. The prospect to some people of speaking to their family about them is like, like, why would I want to talk to
How
them?
could you tell my father about that? No.
Yes.
But
yes.
here's the thing, right? Depending on how you approach that, that's a reflection of your value system.
Yeah.
Your value system is how you live your life. It's not what you claim is important to you.
Yeah. And what's the end goal? It's
Yes.
to understand your partner and create harmony. So you should be open to suggestions,
Yes.
even though it makes you uncomfortable because you don't share the same value system. The best thing to do, it's like when you have a problem with some electronic in your house, the toaster, you're not going to go and ask the mechanic. You're
Yeah.
going to go to the manufacturer. You
Yeah.
made this.
Yes,
You know?
fix it.
So you tell me what is going on here, or else I return. Yes, your slip, goodbye.
Yeah.
Yeah. So it's very, very crucial. And I know a lot of people were very excited about this interview because we have marriages where people early on have a clash in value system because of their value systems. And the marriage is just in jeopardy early on
Yes.
because simple things trip you up.
And why is it that things can go so well in courtship, and then when you get married, then suddenly changes, and everyone thinks, "Oh no, you gaslit
Lied to me.
Yeah, gaslighting and the catfishing and all of that comes up then.
You
No.
were not the person you said you were.
Why do people change after marriage? Because they weren't aware of what to expect regarding the expectations that their partner has of them.
Yeah, yeah,
And vice versa. That goes both ways.
yeah, yeah.
So the reason why people change after marriage is not because they were being insincere or
Pretentious.
whatever.
Yeah.
It's because, well, there are some who are actually deliberately manipulative because their objective was to secure that kind of
Attachment.
material security,
Yeah.
to have someone take care of you and have a place to stay and have someone provide for you, right?
Yeah.
So some people, their motive is that. And if you don't know what to look for, you're not going to realize that that's what they're looking for from you,
Yeah.
right? So when we look at it from that perspective, when we look at it as what is it that both people were expecting, anticipating about marriage, and what was the experience of it? Because when you get married, even if you were married before, that marriage to that person within that dynamic and your backgrounds is going to be unique. So you don't know how their expectations or how you perceive their expectations, you don't know how that's going to affect you when it becomes real. So you can have good intention in courtship, but you can fail on execution because you didn't realize how much that good intention was going to demand of you. And that's where your value system comes in. How honest do you keep yourself relative to what commitment you made?
And then also emotional maturity.
Yes.
Because you would find that some couples, the person, one spouse at a point would have to be patient as the other one processes and meets you where he needs to meet you or she needs to meet you, because they're not going to get it the first time. And I find that impatience is a problem.
What causes impatience?
What causes impatience?
Simple question, right?
I never thought about what causes it. Just some people saying, why can't you just, get it? I got it. I got it. But then also your upbringing means that you, or your,
What does your upbringing establish within you that makes you an impatient person? Or makes you impatient around certain things?
I think that your need for survival,
Which implies?
which implies that you would need to catch on to things faster.
Why?
Because maybe it was dictated by your environment at that time.
No. Because the absence of catching on to it fast enough has some sort of shame or fear attached to it.
Yeah.
There's a fear of an outcome that's not going to be achieved if you don't.
Yeah.
So impatience is, I can't wait for you to do this, I'm going to do it myself.
Yeah. Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
Why? Because I don't trust you.
Yeah.
Why don't I trust you? Either I have good reason and there's credibility to my reason not to trust you because you've proven to be unreliable or not dependable.
Yeah.
In which case, you solve that problem. The person who has proven that they dropped the ball a couple of times, they need to take accountability. How do you hold yourself accountable?
Yeah.
What's your level of honesty about what you stand for? So if you know that you let your partner down more than once, then you can't have a problem about them complaining about the fact that they can't rely on you.
And I think, when it comes down to that, I'm thinking of scenarios that people have spoken about and are currently experiencing where that lack of trust, it jeopardizes any future relationships.
Yes, because whatever was failed in your trust in this relationship
Yes.
becomes part of the debt you want to reclaim from the next relationship.
And that poor person is unsuspecting. They don't even
Yes.
know. They're walking into it. They're like, I just trust you. I don't
Yes.
even think whether I should or I shouldn't. I just have faith that we will get
And in
there.
your mind, you're sitting there and looking at them, yeah, I've heard this before, so no, I don't buy
Very
this.
cynical approach, And that is the thing, is that your context is important.
So when people look at the question you asked me earlier, what did you learn from this? What was the biggest lesson you learned?
Yeah.
People don't realize that the lessons they're taking from their experiences might not be good lessons.
Yeah.
They're convinced that people are out to get you. People can't be trusted. People are going to take advantage of you if you let them. They're convinced about that.
Yeah.
And then they go into every relationship, especially the important ones, and they approach it with that preemptive defensiveness
Yeah.
that gives other people the wrong message. Because now, if you come at me preemptively defending yourself, I'm going to think like, why are you being like this? I didn't accuse you of anything.
Yeah. Yeah.
And then that means that you're implying something about what you think of me, not what you think of yourself.
And then you're sabotaging something before it even began.
Yes.
You know, it's amazing. It's aligning because I saw this one quote today, and I still said I'm going to share this. It says that everybody comes into a relationship with baggage. You can either trip over each other's stuff or unpack it together, and that really hit hard. The right person will help you unpack.
Right. But for you to have the right person to help you unpack, you have to be the right,
Be the
person,
right person.
to support them
Yeah.
and to make it worth their while to want to unpack.
Mm-hmm.
It can't just be about me, 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 me.
Yeah.
What do I need? How bad I had it?
Yes.
What my life was like, and you know how traumatic my childhood was. You know,
Mm-hmm.
all of that is in the past. What you took from that is what's showing up in your present. And if you don't realize what you took from all of your past experiences, that's now shaping how you're showing up in the present moment, you're going to blame everyone else for why it is that they don't see you the way you want to be seen.
Mm-hmm. The emotional tug of war that we go through, you can actually be the one exhausting yourself. That's what I've learned
Yes.
from today. Like, you could be the one that is exhausting yourself.
Mhm. So remember, if you're impatient, you're operating from a position of fear.
Yeah.
Fear breeds impatience.
Mm-hmm.
And the fear is about what you think others think of you. It's not because of specifically what it is that's in front of you.
Yeah.
If there's something of substance in front of you that says that if I don't do this now, because there's going to be a consequence, a real material consequence, that's not impatience, that's urgency. Understand the difference between urgency and impatience. Don't make everything urgent.
Yeah. I think that our generation, this time, everybody needs to hear that. Not everything is urgent. Stop making things urgent.
Yes, and not everything that you say is pearls of wisdom that your partner must just gobble up without ever questioning.
Absolutely. And it must be a safe environment for them to question why. And what if I don't agree with you?
And if the environment is not safe, who do you hold accountable for that?
Yeah.
What does a safe environment even look like?
Mm.
You see, that's why the maturity and how well you know yourself and what you hold yourself accountable for,
Yeah.
that's what gives other people reason to believe that either there's going to be fairness, there's going to be understanding in this space, or no, it's going to be turned against me. It's going to be used against me.
Yeah.
So the moment that trust is eroded because you don't realize that you have a misalignment of the way in which you're living the values that you both claim is important, you're not going to see it as that. You're going to see it as, oh, you lied to me.
Yeah. Yeah.
You're not going to see that we're just different about this and let's figure out which is a better way to handle this and have a meeting of the minds or meet in the middle or something or the other. It's not compromise. It's contribution to what's important.
Yeah. And I think when you refer to the tropes and the things that people are throwing around now, it's so indoctrinated into
Yes.
couples, and that the more you go onto social media, the more it says, are you being treated like this? Does your partner not listen to you? Do you feel unheard? You know,
I find that to be the biggest, almost morbid entertainment that we find these days is that the moment something sounds clever, everyone just dives into it.
yeah,
And they adopt it and they wear it as their badge of courage and they wear it as their slogan for life and all of that. But they don't stop to think what it actually means and what it actually implies.
yeah. And then apply to the context of your life. And you have
Yes.
an emotionally immature person, and you have them interpreting, the victim mindset comes in, and you've got an army behind them.
You know, which is my favorite in regards to this about what sounds so clever and everyone thinks, oh my God, that's so powerful.
Yes.
Is this ridiculous quote I heard. I can't remember who even said it. I don't want to know who said it. But it goes something along the lines of perhaps your greatest fear is that you are powerful beyond measure.
Yes.
Seriously? Like, seriously? Are you afraid of having impact? Are you afraid of having power of authority? No, you're not.
Yes.
You're afraid that you're not going to be able to get it. You're afraid that you're not going to be good enough to exercise that level of authority or impact.
Yeah.
So that's one simple example of how it is that just because something sounds so philosophically profound
Yeah.
doesn't mean it actually makes sense.
Yeah. True. I'm so happy we had this conversation because I am getting messages and people are saying I really needed to hear this, and others are asking, like, if you have a difference in value systems, how do you get your partner to understand yourself better? Anonymous.
When you're struggling to get someone to understand you, that's the time at which you need to stop to try to understand them better. And the reason for that is because if you don't understand where they're at, you won't realize that your way of approaching something is counterproductive. So if the objective is to create alignment and understanding between you and your partner, you need to understand where your partner's at and try to position what's important to you in a way that they will be receptive to it, so that it doesn't come across as judgmental, confrontational, or critical. So it's always about what are you trying to build with them, not what do you need from them.
Yeah. Wow, that makes so much of sense. Coach Zaid, what are your parting shots for our listeners on this Wednesday?
Just because it sounds clever doesn't mean it is.
Oh, wow.
Usually it's these tropes that we've bought into in the mainstream. I promise you, someone messaged me this morning, asked me, why do I have a problem with mainstream psychology? I have a problem with it because it causes a lot of harm. Not because I say so, but because even people who are deeply entrenched in the practice of it have recognized the harms of it. So the mainstream mental health space, in fact, I was on my way, I heard there was some talk about mental health in that. And also my daughter was telling me, hey, it's Men's Mental Health Month. What are you guys doing about it? And I think maybe that's something we should tackle next week. But the point is that the moment you start framing everything within the context of mental health, you're separating the human from the experience. It's not about mental health. It's about the human who's experiencing something that either inspires them or weighs them down.
Yeah.
There's no in between.
Wow, that is so important to remember, separating the human from the experience.
Yes.
Today we have learned so much, Coach Say. Jazakallah khair for this amazing topic, and we're looking forward to next week, Wednesday, where we will all be quietly seated in class because we have been schooled, and the importance of value systems and the role it plays in our marriages, relationships, even workspaces. It's so you've got to immerse yourself. You've got to know yourself, become, I don't want to use the word self-aware, but know yourself. Know what trips you up, and your emotional maturity, your range. What can you listen to? How much of criticism can you accept about yourself without falling over?
Quick response to that?
Yeah.
You only will accept the amount of criticism you have capacity for, because the rest of your capacity is taken up with your self-criticism.
Yeah.
If you're beating yourself up all the time, you're not going to want to hear anyone else having something to say about you.
Yeah. Well, Coach Say, Jazakallah khair for today. And this knowledge will carry us through. It's like fuel. You are putting fuel. We will last until next week, Wednesday.
Inshallah.
And we thank you, and we wish you an awesome week and a nice long weekend. Are you taking a long weekend?
No, I'm not. I always miss these. But
okay.
Maybe I'll look into it and see if there's opportunity.
No, Monday is automatic.
I guess so, yeah. So maybe I should actually look at that.
Jazakallah khair. Have an awesome day, Father
You
Coach
too.
Said.
All right.
Assalamu alaikum wa
Wa alaikum
rahmatullahi
assalam
wa
wa
barakatuh.
rahmatullah.